Hey guys, it's Armin. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, maybe stick around. Don't forget to subscribe down below as well as the notification bell so you can be told when I make a new video. Today I am doing my Trick or to Readathon TBR. The Trick or to Readathon is the annual readathon that my friends and I here on BookTube have been hosting for 3 years now. I've linked the announcement video down below, so if you haven't already watched that, go ahead and check that out first so that you know kind of what I'm talking about when I'm mentioning the prompts and the books I'm reading and all of that kind of stuff. But without further ado, I'm just going to get into the books that I'm going to be reading this month. Hopefully, if you've followed me for a while, you know that I am very much a mood reader, so I always make these TBR videos and then sometimes I change books halfway through the month. So this is going to be a loose TBR that I would like to get done this month, but we'll see what actually happens. So for the first prompt, that is to read a book with autumnal vibes, I'm going to be reading Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This book has been on my Trick or to Readathon TBR for probably 2 years now, since it came out. I put it on the TBR every year and I never really get to it. I don't know what it is about this book, like maybe it's just like the fact that it's kind of long, but it's not like the longest book I've ever read, so I'm not really sure what is putting me off or if I just don't get to it, but really I would love to finally get to it this month. So fingers crossed that I actually read Ninth House. Let's see what happens. Place your bets. But yeah, that's gonna be my autumnal vibes book. And I'm actually doubling up, so the next prompt is to read a book with a number in the title, and I'm also going to be reading Ninth House for that. So kind of 2 birds with 1 stone, or maybe 3 or 4. I'm not sure how many times I'm doubling up on this book, but we'll see. We'll get to it. The next prompt is to read a book at night, and for this one, originally I was going to leave it open and just kind of read whatever I was reading during that time and just read that at night, but I realized that a lot of these books might be kind of spooky books and I don't want to have random weird nightmares, so I'm going to instead pick this book, which is Daughter of the Deep by Rick Riordan. It came out last year and I was going to read it and I just never got around to it, but I feel like it might be a light, nice read to pick up before bed. It's not super long, so I could just chip away at it, you know, throughout the month and be done with it by the end of the month. And again, I'm going to be doubling up, so the 4th prompt is to read a middle grade, and I want to read Daughter of the Deep, which is a middle grade, so I'm really excited about this one because I'm a huge fan of Rick Riordan's other works, you know, as most everybody is, so like Percy Jackson, all the other mythological things that he's written, I love them so much. And this is like the first book that's not part of that series, so it's gonna be kind of strange not having Percy even tangentially related in any of this, but it's an interesting looking book and the premise of it sounds good, so I'm excited. The next prompt is to read a book that keeps you guessing, and for this one I'm going to be reading The Silent Patient. I got recommended this book by a few different people over the past year, and so I managed to find it at a thrift store, secondhand bookstore, for pretty cheap, so I picked it up and I'm finally hopefully getting the chance to read it. I think it's like a psychological thriller? Yeah, it has like some psychotherapist character in it, and it's like about this lady who like kills her husband or something and nobody knows why because she stopped talking. And so that's kind of all I know about this based on the sleeve, but I, as you know, was a psychology student, and so anything that is a psychological thriller is incredibly interesting to me and I'm very excited to read this book. Once again, I'm doubling up because I know that I'm not going to have time to read 9 separate books this month. So for the next prompt, which is to read a book that's set in the real world, I'm also going to be reading The Silent Patient. The next prompt is to read a Backlist book. This one is going to be The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I've heard mixed reviews about this, but it's won some award. Pulitzer Prize winner, 2014. I don't know if that's for the Goldfinch or it's for The Secret History, but the author has won a prize. Anyways, possibly problematic, dark academia. I was gonna read this back when I went through a huge dark academia phase and I was just reading only dark academia, but I never got to this one before I got tired of the genre because I was reading only that genre. So I took a break from it for a long time, and I feel like now that I'm out of academia, I might want to go back, like, reading dark academia. So Ninth House is also part of that genre, and the Secret History is like one of the more classic dark academia books, so I'm kind of excited for this. I don't really know what it's about, to be completely honest with you, but I just know a lot of my friends have read it, so I'm gonna give it a shot. The next prompt is to read a book during a live show or to buddy read a book with someone. So we are going to be having live shows throughout the month. Just keep an eye out on all of our channels to see whose channel it's going to be on and when those are going to be hosted. We're going to try to have one, I think, once a week, so that should be like 4 live shows, so if you miss one, don't worry about it. And again, if you can't make it to any live shows, you can just buddy read a book or like have a friend pick your book or just something like that, you know, something tangentially related. So for this one, I'm not really sure because I guess I'll just be picking up whatever I'm reading throughout the month, so I'm not going to set myself to one single book that I'm only reading during live shows. I am currently reading The Ivory Key. I started this last month and I haven't had the chance to finish it. I'm only about like not even a fourth of the way through it, so I might be trying to read this month, but again, I might just pick up whatever I'm reading at the time. The final prompt is to read a book with a romance or a couple as like the main characters. So I am going to attempt to read These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This is, if you don't know, a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in Shanghai, and I've heard amazing things about this, and I've literally had the book for like over a year now, and I just never got around to reading it. I think Andrew sent this to me for my birthday or Christmas or something, but I really want to read it, and I feel like it's going to be a really good book and like really enthralling read, so if I can get to it this month, that would be really great. It is also, I've picked a few like bigger books. They're not huge, but they're like not small either, so we'll see what happens, but I'm going to try to like set aside time to actually read this month because I really want to get back into reading regularly rather than just one-off binge reads when I have the time. So I would love to get to this because I think it's going to be really exciting. But yeah, those are basically all of the books that I currently plan to read for the month. Again, I'm not holding myself too strongly to this because I tend to mood read a lot, so I might pick things up and put things down, but hopefully I will be able to get through at least most of these books. If not, I'll change some stuff around. It's okay. It's just for fun. But definitely let me know down below what you guys are going to be reading, and if you haven't already seen on our Instagram, we do have a giveaway. So if you post a TBR video or like a TBR post on Instagram and you tag Trick or Readathon, you can be entered into our giveaway for the month, and that's super exciting because you get a free book for just making a TBR and telling us what you're reading, which is super easy. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be reading, and definitely check out all the hosts linked below. They all have their own TBRs. If you need ideas of what to read this month and you're like, you have no idea what book would fit the prompts, check out the TBR videos because those are going to be your first resource for that. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you're going to be participating in this year's Trick or Readathon.
She make my temperature rise. She make me want suicide. I cry whenever she's twisted.